Dear aviators, have you ever wondered how far a standard class glider can fly without an engine? Join me on a cross-country flight and discover the story of a non-stop 70 kilometers final glide straight over the Alps. Learn about the impressive glide performance of these technical masterpieces and gain insights into flight tactics to cover hundreds of kilometers along the main ridge. Welcome on board. Let's start with a mission briefing and how a small, careless mistake almost left me low and stuck at a mountain range later in the day. The weather forecast promised a sunny day with bubbling cumulus, ideal for racing from cloud to cloud over long distances. The first challenge was to tow across the Inn Valley and reach a mountain where the first thermal of the day was indicated by fluffs of clouds. Unable to find a good climb, I jumped to the next promising cloud. The wings indicated the typical seismic vibrations of a strong thermal, pushing up my ship upward like a rocket at 3.2 meters per second, twice as fast as an elevator in an apartment building. However, the high-speed flow ended when Innsbruck airport airspace appeared on my way. Checking my flight computer and old but gold-printed maps, I realized I was too close to controlled airspace. Different airspace heights on the maps confused me, my view rate outside the cockpit dropped, and my controls weren't smooth anymore. In a rush, I decided to avoid the airspace and missed contacting Innsbruck Tower. This mistake placed me below the ridge, an undesirable situation in the Alps. But now I had to focus 100% on digging myself out of the situation. Flying close to the terrain required my full attention on speed and rising air to get this ship back in the game. This inaccuracy in the pre-flight briefing cost me more than 20 minutes. Valuable flight time on a perfect soaring day. These are the thrilling ups and exhausting downs of gliding. A little later, I was back to cloud base, entering the Engadine and reaching Swiss airspace. It was like entering another world, a breathtaking landscape, strong and reliable thermals, and seemingly endless soaring highways unfolding under beautiful clouds. Here I was nearly 200 kilometers far from my starting point, and it was 3 o'clock, time to think about the tactic to reach back home safely. The same route back looked safe, as I now knew the mountains, but it would have been a conservative choice. So I decided on a challenge that required a sip of courage, flying into high mountains with steep valleys and high summits. My bet was that staying in higher terrain offers higher cloud bases and more options to get more kilometers on the clock. Honestly, I screwed up my courage to make a right turn into a new area with no backtrack once past the following ridges. I just needed to find a way through the eye of a needle between a military airspace and the massive stone walls of the main ridge. It was worth it. A series of reliable thermals kept the glider high over the main ridge, and I could explore some new places I had never seen before this close. But how to manage a final glide back to the home base 70 kilometers far away from here? Let's check the impressive performance of the standard glider and get into the practice of a final glide. Some insights into glide calculations follow now. Skip to the next chapter to proceed directly to the final glide. The glider you see here is an LS4 with a glide ratio of 1:40. In theory, that means if you throw a paper plane from your chair at a height of 1 meter, it will touch down 40 meters away. Every time I realize this insane performance, I get into a state of disbelief and at the same time a deep respect and gratitude to the genius engineers of these airplanes. And don't be surprised, 40 is just standard. High performance gliders can push the limits to an insane glide ratio of 1 to 60. These numbers never stop being mind-blowing for me. But let's leave theory and get into practice. The distance from here to the home base Unterwössen Airfield is around 70 kilometers, from an altitude of 3,400 meters above main sea level. The airfield has an elevation of around 500 meters, so I have 2,900 meters altitude left. To be on the safe side, I would like to arrive at least 500 meters above the airfield. So, 2,400 meters left to burn into distance. In the mountain, it is better not to expect the maximum glide ratio of 40 from an LS4, but to calculate with a safe 25. That means with 2,400 meter height left, I can reach a distance of approximate 60 kilometers. That sounds safe and comfortable. Additionally, we might encounter lift along the way, extending the final glide to 69 or more. Even though I cannot believe my eyes, I decided to be committed to this seemingly endless final glide. Let's enjoy this final glide and watch what's happening. And voila! I arrived. No drama, no stress, just the pure magic of a final glide with a standard class glider. If you'd like to watch a failed final glide or an extremely low final glide, please check out my other videos. Finally, let's check the lessons learned. Careful briefing is crucial, as it allows you to fly faster and longer, because you're prepared for the tricky parts of the flight. Investing time in studying maps or flying routes in a simulator pays off and builds confidence for navigating through unfamiliar terrain. Think ahead in scenarios and options and plan as if you're playing chess. Always try to improve that skill. Keep your mind positive, especially when flying low in the mountains. Instead of worrying about big goals that might not work out, focus on what you need to do right now. Be patient and give your full attention to the task at hand. Thanks for flying with me. I hope you enjoyed. Goodbye and take care.